Marcus Rashford is in hot water and could face the wrath of Erik ten Hag. So basically, Marcus Rashford has, well, look, it's his birthday. Happy birthday. He's 26. I think that's a conversation in itself. But apparently out clubbing into the early hours on Sunday night, celebrating his birthday at a club in Manchester. Lots of people have had their opinion on this. Some people think Erik ten Hag won't take kindly to it. Look, at the end of the day, my reaction to this, and, you know, I'm more than happy to do a poll. We're a fan community. We're not trying to be mainstream, so we can do stuff like this. Should Rashford have been out? Look, I don't know the details of this, and I don't think anybody really does, and I doubt the truth is ever going to come out. Was he drinking alcohol? If he's drinking alcohol... If any footballer's drinking alcohol when you've played a game on Sunday and you've got a game on Wednesday, you're a bloody idiot. You know, fitness is a real problem at Manchester United, and it's well known that even one drink of alcohol when you're a professional athlete can impact your performance, so they shouldn't be drinking. But I don't know how that works. Maybe Pep Guardiola lets his players drink. Maybe Phil Foden was at that club. I don't know. So look, you've got to be a little bit even-handed here. Player goes out to a club after a match. Is it the end of the world? Some people say he's doing it on the regular since he broke up with his missus. I don't know. That's just rumours. I mean, can we flip the rumour around and say Rashford goes to bed at 10 o'clock every night since he broke up with his missus, gets 9 hours sleep, doesn't drink, is always on the treadmill? Look, rumours are rumours, and I don't think rumours do anybody any favours. I said this about Jadon Sancho. I think Jadon Sancho's behaviour has been shocking. He's on £300,000 a week. He won't apologise. And look, whether he wants to apologise to Ten Hag or not, I would say as a Man United fan, Jadon, as a Manchester United fan, please just apologise, get back training and help the team out. You are selfish. You are doing it for selfish reasons. Forget your issues with Ten Hag. If you care about the fans and you care about the club, you'd apologise, get your head down and work for the team. You won't do that. But what I will not put up with is people saying Jadon Sancho's got a bad attitude, he's arrogant, you know, all these things, because that's character assassination and that's not relevant to what's... I think people take an issue and want to turn it into something else. Somebody plays bad for Manchester United, they're out drinking, clubbing and womanising and stuff like that. That's got nothing to do with playing bad for Manchester United if you don't have the facts. Erik ten Hag needs to be ruthless. He can't show weakness. The big problem... Look, Marcus Rashford won't be the only player that was out on Sunday night, for a start. Let's call it what it is. Harry Maguire was pictured after a loss a couple of years ago in a restaurant smiling. What do you think they're going to do? That game's on a Sunday afternoon. What do you think they're going to do? Go home, put their pyjamas on and sit and watch, you know, repeats of the Bake Off and just not do anything? They are human beings and they've got a right to do something. The problem is not whether Marcus Rashford or any Man United player was out on Sunday night. That's not the problem. The problem is they're an embarrassment to the shirt. And that's more hard hitting. Like, what they're doing on a night after a match, it doesn't really matter. You know, Erik ten Hag's job is to deal with that, not mine, not yours. What does matter is that in a Man United shirt, they're an embarrassment. I don't care if they're down Burger King or down the cinema. You know, I don't care if they're, whatever they're doing on the dance floor. Absolutely. If he's busting moves on the dance floor, I'd say, why is he not busting moves at Old Trafford? But that's by the by. I don't really care. It's what they do in a Man United shirt. And I think this is the problem at Manchester United. I was thinking about this morning and I thought, Marcus Rashford's on 350k a week. He's probably the best paid player in the club. He's paid better than Ten Hag. He'll be paid better than John Murtough. He'll be paid better than Richard Arnold. He is being paid probably more than the Glazers get as well. He is being paid around 2 million a month. 2 million a month. Over a year, that's over £20 million a year. He is probably the best paid player in that entire club. That's the issue with football. The power we get. And remember, that's his basic wage. What's he getting paid by all the other brands? Marcus Rashford's probably clearing £40 million a year. Not clearing, but, you know, making. This is the problem with football. You've got a guy who I actually think is just not that good. And I like him, but at the moment, he's just not that good. And yet, he's got all that power at Manchester United. Is Ten Hag scared of Marcus Rashford? That's a more interesting question. Is Richard Arnold scared of Marcus Rashford? Is Manchester United scared of Marcus Rashford? That's my question. I don't care whether he's out clubbing. Apparently Malacia was with him. Marcus Rashford might be a right nice guy. He might be a right big knobhead. I don't know, and I don't really care. What I care is about what he's doing on the football pitch, and that's my problem with it. So ultimately, look, I think we go looking for reasons to dislike players in their personal life, and we should never personalise it. The point is, we deal with what we've got. If Marcus Rashford does an interview and comes across as a knobhead, then you've got a reason to think he's a knobhead. But ultimately, he's done a lot of good work off the pitch. Applause, well done. But on the pitch, he's a footballer for Manchester United and he's not delivering. And he needs a kick up the arse. He needs a kick up the arse. And Ten Hag won't do it. And the club won't do it. So maybe the fans should do it. Maybe the booing at the weekend. And look, we have a huge fan base and people try to divide that fan base. But I take my lead on player opinion from Old Trafford. And it's very, very clear that when Højlund gets subbed and Rashford stays on, the boos are aimed at Ten Hag for not taking Rashford off. And when Rashford gets taken off, the cheers are because Rashford's going off. This love relationship that Rashford has with Manchester United is a myth. It's a myth. You look at Old Trafford, those fans are running out of patience with him. He doesn't have this adored, relationship that certain players in the past have got because he's not earned it yet. But Man United have delivered it in a massive paycheck. And Manchester United put Marcus Rashford out there like he's Ryan Giggs, like he's Paul Scholes, like he's Cristiano Ronaldo. Marcus Rashford doesn't have that relationship with Manchester United. The media think he does, and maybe he thinks he does, but he doesn't. And he can, and he has been loved in the past. But at the moment, I think most Man United fans are frustrated with him, disillusioned with him, and don't understand him. And he needs that kick up the arse. We said it when he was going to go to PSG. He needed to take a long, hard look in the mirror. And that summer, he looked in the mirror. He needs to look back in the mirror again. Because at the moment, everything about him is off. And I don't really care if he's clubbing or not, because it's what he's doing on the pitch. I don't really care about that. But what I would say, a lot of people say football's changed. It has changed. I mean, I just don't think the managers have the power they should have anymore. I don't think Erik Ten Hag could pull Rashford into the office and say, what are you doing out past midnight? We've got a match on Tuesday and Wednesday. Were you drinking this, that and the other? Because I think he'd find himself in hot water. I mean, look, Solskjaer said something about Rashford, didn't he? What did Solskjaer say about Rashford, about his, he needs to focus on the pitch and less on what he's doing off the pitch? The very next press conference, before he even got asked a question, Solskjaer said, I just want to say before I take any questions, what I said about Rashford wasn't what I meant. And I was like, oh my God. That to me, and many Man United fans might not remember it, but that for me is probably one of the most significant points of our last 10 years when you think about the massive failures. That was one of the biggest, and it got missed. Ollie said in an interview, Rashford needs to focus on the pitch and less off the pitch. The very next press conference, before he took a question, he said, just want to say before I take any questions, just want to clear up this thing about Rashford. He's a great guy. And I was like, oh my God, that was the point where if you didn't think it, this club's run by player power. And is the club still run by player power? Because look, Ten Hag needs to drop Rashford. Everybody knows it. He's tried his best to pick him. He's tried his best to get him to score goals. And I understand what Ten Hag's doing here. I'm not critical of him I wouldn't do it, but I understand it. And I did agree with him for a while, but I think the last 2 weeks I disagree. And a lot of you were saying drop Rashford 6 weeks ago. And you're probably right. What's he done in 6 weeks? In fact, you are right. Anybody who said drop Rashford 6 weeks ago, you're right. Because he's done nothing in 6 weeks. So you were right. People don't realise that. You were right. If you said drop Rashford 6 weeks ago, you were right. Because he's done nothing. I didn't. I said stick with him a little bit longer. But I think from now, I would drop him. Because we've been waiting too long. I understand why Ten Hag has been waiting. He's been waiting for him to score that goal. And then if he scores that goal, he might score more goals. But you can't keep waiting. And also, the second reason I would drop him is he's been treated so well. It's arm round the shoulder. You start every game. You keep playing. You keep playing. You keep playing. We've all seen Rashford not tracking back. We've all seen him, throwing his hands in the air. We've all seen him looking disillusioned. I think he's had the arm round the shoulder. It's now time for the kick up the arse. So I would drop him. You've got to try everything. Ultimately, I think the bottom line is, for any Rashford fan out there, or if Rashford gets this clip or whatever, which I doubt he will, it's not about disliking Rashford. I don't think it is for most people. What it's about is the medicine, antidote, recipe to get the best out of Rashford. That's what it is. And you've got to try everything.